pleasure to present you with Professor Dr. Yvonne Diaz-Rodriguez, who hosted the second International Ecological Economy Congress, the second, right? At the University of Puerto Rico in Mayagüez this week, just this past week. Okay, yeah, you understand. And is a professor for economy, but that was not her path, that was not her desire when she was a child. She wanted to do many different things. And as we heard with Dana's presentation, so many of us, or all of us, were, most of us at least, indoctrinated into believing that we need to be something other than we are. That's the long story shortcut why she's a professor for economy. But really, Yvonne is a very beautiful soul and a holographic alignment specialist and a hypnotherapist and many other things, which is why she will now talk about consciousness and ecological economy. So thank you very much. And Paola Garcia, who is a beautiful soul, and we just met in person yesterday. It seems like many lifetimes. Will translate. Thank you so much, because the person who was going to translate has not been able to make it, like many others. And she's helping me now, and I will help you if I can. Thank you. Gracias.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, good evening. I'm going to speak English. I'm sorry, Spanish. That's my mother language. I can read English. I can talk a little bit, but I prefer to speak Spanish. So, I can say some stuff in English sometimes, but Paola is here for us. Well, as you saw, según vieron en el resumen que aparece en el programa, dice que vivimos en un mundo interconectado, que somos parte de algo más grande que nosotros mismos, pero todavía prevalecen en muchas economías, sistemas educativos, lamentablemente en la academia, en la sociedad, una visión de separación e individualidad, lo que ha resultado en consecuencias bastante desastrosas para todos nosotros a nivel planetario, a nivel ecológico, a nivel social.
Paola, it's okay if you just do a brief
summary.
synopsis.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, we know that.
I was just talking about the summary that appears on the program, introducing this conference. That's what I was talking about. The interconnectedness in the world, that we are part of something bigger than ourselves, but even though there is still in the economy, in the academia, in the educational system, a vision of separation, a mechanic vision, everything is segmented, and that has brought a lot of problems globally, in our economies, in our society, in our environment. That's what I was talking about. I'm going to talk about the development of our consciousness. Why is this important? To transform these economies, these traditional economies. How can we make the transition to another alternative economies, ecological economies, solidarity economies, social economies, compassive economies? That's what I'm going to talk about. But first, sorry if my English is...
Vas a hablar en
I'm gonna try.
Is that okay for everybody if everyone tries in English?
I prefer to speak Spanish. I say it everywhere. That's my language.
Yes.
But if there is a problem, I don't know.
Spanglish.
Yeah, Spanish is
Habla como tú quieras, Simón.
Ok. Soy profesora de la universidad y siempre, como profesora, siempre tengo que estar buscando lo que me toca y lo que no me toca enseñar en las clases. Y recientemente encontré una guía sobre cómo tener una visión ecológica. ¿Cuáles son los factores que nos pueden ayudar a tener una visión ecológica? Y una de esas es la experiencia en la naturaleza durante la niñez y la familia de origen. Eso es uno de los factores. La educación ambiental en la escuela o en la universidad a través de mentores o profesores. Observar la pobreza y degradación ambiental, todos estos factores que aparentemente contribuyen a desarrollar esa visión. Percibir la educación como un vehículo para el cambio y algo bien importante, un sentido de espiritualidad y de servicio. Cuando yo vi esto, yo dije bingo, porque yo pienso, ¿verdad?, que he tenido un poquito de cada una de estos factores. Así que yo crecí en el campo, de una familia de 6 hermanos. Mi mamá no trabajaba y tenía hijos unos detrás de otros, así que no tenía tiempo para otra cosa que para cocinar, limpiar. Y crecimos fuera de la casa, rodeados de árboles, de la naturaleza, de árboles de mango, y nuestros campamentos de verano eran en el monte. Así que desde pequeña tuve esa conexión con la naturaleza. A mi abuela le encantaba la agricultura y yo siempre estaba detrás de ella, sembrando, recogiendo tomates, lechuga, recao. Así que esa es mi primera conexión con la naturaleza. Como le comentaba hace un rato a la profesora Martínez Cruzado, que quería estudiar historia, hubo una persona que no me desorientó y me llevó por otro área, el área de la administración de empresas, un área bastante racional. O sea que todo aquello que yo había adquirido se fue perdiendo, aparentemente, porque luego resurge. Durante esos estudios universitarios, estudié administración de empresas, empecé a hacer una maestría en contabilidad, todo muy mecánico, todo muy técnico, pero dentro de mí quedaba algo. Y entonces un día aparece una oportunidad para ir a México, a hacer un internado con una corporación multinacional, y yo era un intern de contabilidad. Pero eso era lo menos que yo hacía. Viajamos todo México y entonces allí tuve encuentros con la pobreza, mucha pobreza en aquella época, todavía hay pobreza, mucha desigualdad entre ciertos sectores de la sociedad, encuentros con las culturas autóctonas, y eso a mí me pareció maravilloso, tener esos encuentros con diferentes culturas antiguas y obviamente con la naturaleza.
¿Podemos resumir?
Claro.
¿Puedes?
Okay. Yvonne, Professor Yvonne, she's a professor at the university here in Iowa, the Recinto Universitario de Iowa, and she was saying that since she was little, she has always shown interest in the ecology, and she grew up in a farm with part of 6 brothers and sisters. She was always behind her grandmother's, what she was doing. She always loved the sweet mango trees and everything that grows in the farm. However, she wanted to become a historian. However, she went into somebody who, I don't know, changed her mind, disoriented her, and she started studying business administration and then accounting. She knew that was not her call, but she was doing it anyways. It was until she was an intern in a company that offered her the chance to go to Mexico, that she went and she started seeing all the different cultures and the poverty, how poor the country was, and I did it.
Muchas gracias, no, perfecto. Gracias.
And then after I went to Mexico, I wanted to study economics because I saw that everything was connected. So I wanted to understand everything through that field. So when I went there the first day, I found this blackboard full of formulas, mathematical formulas and mathematical models, and I said, oh my God. I wanted to run away from that place. I studied economics at Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. I was there for 8 years. My daughters were born there too. But this was not what I was expecting about the economy, about economics. I studied environmental economics also, but it was traditional environmental economics inside the traditional model. So when I finished, I said, I don't know anything about anything. I just knew about formulas and models and all this stuff, very beautiful for the economists. And that was good for them, but not good for me. And then I came to Mayagüez to work at the University of Puerto Rico. I was hired as an assistant professor of economics. And I was going to teach microeconomics, environmental and natural resource economics. And I was feeling that something was missing. I was not happy about it. I like to teach, but I was not happy about something. And one day, I was not sleeping, but I had this vision. Later, many years later, I understood. I have this vision that I was floating on the space, and everything was circular. I saw all these planets, and everything was circular. And then I said, aha. And then I began searching, and I then found what is ecological economy. It's something completely different to the traditional vision. The traditional vision, we use the ecosystem to extract resources and to send our, what do you say, garbage? The garbage. You extract resources and then you send the solid waste. That's the thing. Solid waste.
Solid waste, yes.
Yeah, solid waste. But ecological economics was completely different. The planet is very important and most important for everything. And the economy depends on that ecological services, on that resources. And then another thing that was important was that everything is not linear. The economy cannot be linear. Everything is interconnected. It's like a web of things, I mean. And then I began to develop this ecological economics course at the University of Puerto Rico. It was not easy because in the economics department people tend to be very traditional, and sometimes if they are not, they don't say it. But I say it. And developed this course. It was the first time in Puerto Rico. I never knew about any of the ecological economic course here in Puerto Rico. And I did a lot of projects with my students. I made a lot of presentations, and one time I said, I'm tired of talking. I want to start discussing this out of the university at another level. And then like that came the first International Congress of Ecological Economy. And the second Congress that I just finished last Friday. So that has been a journey, it hasn't been easy. I have had a lot of obstacles, but I'm here. I have used a lot of strategies. I have taken my students everywhere in Puerto Rico. I almost died in one of those adventures in Cueva del Indio. I have taken them to Cuba. I have taken them to Argentina to see other things, to connect with the people, to connect with nature. That's my philosophy. You have to see, you have to experience, not everything on the blackboard, not always in the classroom. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what is the conventional economy. I'm going to say it in Spanish because sometimes it's very hard to speak English for me. La economía convencional surge de esa visión de separación entre la economía, la sociedad y el ambiente. Les voy a hacer más adelante, I'm going to draw a graph, how I perceive this relationship. La revolución industrial pues trajo grandes transformaciones de la economía, tecnología, y el crecimiento se convirtió en el mantra de la economía. Todo el mundo quería crecer. Todas las economías comenzaron a crecer, desarrolladas, no desarrolladas, todo el mundo quería crecer. Pero para crecer económicamente hay que producir. Y para producir hay que explotar los recursos. Y a veces se explotan los recursos para siempre, ya no se pueden volver a recuperar. Y ahí es que está el problema. Vivimos en un mundo de recursos escasos, en un mundo de recursos finitos, así que tiene que haber un balance. Y no es que no existan las economías, pero tiene que haber un balance entre lo que es la producción y la conservación del ambiente. Por eso la conciencia ecológica es bien importante para tomar decisiones que sean decisiones sustentables. La economía convencional pues no percibe esa importancia y esa interconexión entre la economía, la naturaleza y la sociedad. Para la economía convencional somos individuos, uno por aquí, otro por allá. Y eso no funciona así realmente. Así que vivimos desconectados de la sociedad. I'm going to draw a diagram.
Mientras tanto, tal vez ahora sí puede resumir
brevemente.
Y yo te ayudo.
I don't remember the terms are very, the economy.
Okay. The traditional economy.
Yeah, the traditional economy that basically depleting resources.
Is separating each area. It's not interconnected, and it's linear. So
Society, environment, and economics are separated, and who's there?
thank you. Yes, society, economics, and resources are separated, not connected, and more resources need to be extracted to produce more in order to grow. So it's linear, constant growth needs to be happening, and therefore more and more needs to be extracted to produce more and more, and creates even more extraction and lack of resources and deprivation, and cannot go on forever.
Yeah, because the resource will end. So that's
Because we are in a limited resource environment.
Okay, I don't know if you understand that, but I do. First, we have here the society, this thing. Then we have the planet, the another thing. And then this is the rational model, rationality, el modelo racional, that covers everything. Just one rationality for everything, everywhere. And that is the problem, because there are different rationalities in many places. So I think that this model is wrong because it's based only on the logical side of the brain, the left hemisphere, and does not consider the other side, the right side. Both sides are important for everything. If you see it here, it's better.
so that's the traditional model for economy.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Oh, how you see it.
I had to draw it because it's easier for me to understand things. So, some characteristic of this traditional economy is the economic universal, economic rationality, one rationality for everything, for every culture, for everywhere, education, economy, everywhere, just one. So, mechanicism, social mechanicism, environmental mechanicism, everything is a machine. Individual decision, we are just me, and me. Profit maximization, technology, economic growth, globalization with all the problems that it has, industrialization, power, concentration of the wealth, all those are characteristics of the traditional economy. Individuality, competition, codicia, ¿cómo se dice codicia?
Police.
¿Ah?
Police.
Police.
Policy.
Greed, accumulation, insensibility, aggressivity, all these are characteristics and the results of this.
Jealousy.
Also, yeah, competition and
Ego.
jealousy.
Constipation.
Ego, mind, intellect.
We live disconnected of nature using this model. We have a lot of activities, extraction activities around the planet, exploitation around the planet, deforestation, loss of biological and cultural diversity, global warming, pressure over social systems also, cultural and ecological system. And one of those examples now is Standing Rock in Dakota del Norte. There is a Dakota access pipeline that want to cross from North Dakota through Illinois, Chicago. And that poses a threat to all these communities, to the water that they use, and all ecological resources and services through this pipeline. And everyone in the world, we are suffering from all these problems as a consequence of this greed and accumulation, and we want to grow, and we want profit, but the problem is few people are benefiting from this, and the other, they are suffering from all these social costs. There is a book, I like books, was written by a Chilean economist. His name is Manfred Smith. In Spanish, La economía desenmascarada. I don't know how to say that in English.
The unmasked economy.
Something like that, yeah. So he makes a very interesting comparison between two ways. ¿Cómo se dice ruta? Route. The route that we could sail, and the route that we sailed. And then he mentioned the route that we sailed and compares Maquiavelo. Es mucho más seguro ser temido que ser amado, y esto lo saqué de ese libro. Y lo compara con San Francisco de Asís, donde el amor no solo es posible, sino que además es coherente y tiene un significado universal. We follow Maquiavelo and forgot about San Francisco de Asís. And also he mentioned Francis Bacon, who talks about only one truth, and compare that with Juan Francisco Pico de la Mirandola, no sé si usted lo conoce,
Sí, sí.
que habla sobre multiple truth. You don't need to agree with this, but I'm just making reference to that because I think it's interesting for me. He also mentioned Descartes. He talked about mechanicism and reductionism and all this stuff. And compare him with Giordano Bruno, who said that the earth has a soul and has life. But we follow Descartes, Francis Bacon, Maquiavelo, and also he compares Galileo and Isaac Newton with Goethe. Goethe and Isaac Newton said science is the supreme manifestation of the reason, and the reason is the supreme attribute of human being. And Goethe said science is an interior path through the spiritual development, and also a scientific discipline, something like that. I'm trying to translate what I have here. So I think that's important to see what's happened in the past. So, cómo hemos llegado hasta aquí, how we came until this day. In 2002, there was like a manifesto for the life, and it came from the United Nations Program for the Environment. It says that the crisis is a crisis of civilization. It's a crisis of our time. No, it's not an ecological crisis, it's a social crisis. It's the result of a mechanistic vision of the world that ignores the limits of nature and the style of life of many cultures around the world. I'm trying to translate. I'm sorry if I can say that exactly how it's here. It's also saying that manifesto, the crisis is a moral crisis of unjust social relations and an instrumental rationality in conflict with the drama de la vida.
With the drama of life.
With the drama of life. Everything in conflict with the drama of life. So we have a lot of crises. It's not just one. Here in this country, they just talk about the fiscal crisis. That made me crazy. Because I know that there are a lot of problems, many crises, social, environmental, fiscal, economy, everything. And they want just to solve everything with one way of thinking. And there are a lot of documentaries that talk about this. I just want to mention two of them. This Changes Everything by Naomi Klein. Esto lo cambia todo. It documents the environmental conflicts in United States, Canada, Greece, India, and other parts of the world. Last semester, we presented that documentary for students and professors, and we talk about it. Next semester, I have another one in mind. Conspiracy.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
La conspiración de las vacas.
Cowspiracy.
Oh, cow.
Watch it.
There is an environmental justice atlas that is documenting all the environmental conflicts around the world. So far there are 1,800 cases. There are much more than that. And very interesting, in Puerto Rico, they just put one. The conflict in Vieques. That's the only one that appears on the Global Atlas. So for next semester we have ¿cómo se dice tarea? Homework to start documenting all these environmental conflicts around the island, and there are a lot of them. I think more than 100. I found a paper that it says there are around 40, but I think there are more than that. So, talking about Puerto Rico, I said I was thinking not to talk about the crisis, but our economy has collapsed for more than 10 years. Economic growth, measured conventionally, has been in the negative area without considering the environmental and social costs that are not there. So we are very, very low. 45% of the population live under poverty levels. More than 500,000 Puerto Ricans has abandoned the country during the last 10 years. And the population is becoming an old population. So we have a lot of problems, we have a lot of crises. We have a debt of about $33 billion. And we have the junta to solve everything.
The Fiscal Control Board. Financial Control Board, sorry.
So, how we going to solve all these problems with that model? That's impossible. We need to find another way of thinking. We need to take action. We need to find alternative options that considers environmental, ethical, social, cultural aspects. With that model, it's impossible to solve all these problems. We need then to make the transition to new economies with another vision. You have to change that. Cross it. We need ecological economies that consider the environment more important than anything to support the life. Economies are important, but the environment is important more than that. We need solidarity economies, compassive economies. So ecological economics poses a transcendental change of mentality. We have to change the way we see things. I know it's not easy. We have been bombarded in the TV, in the radio, in the newspaper, in the politician, everywhere. We don't need to watch any of this. Ecological economics consider that the human being is an integral part of nature and not a separate entity. We are all interconnected. And this has proven through the quantum physics. Long time ago, but economics still lived in the 19th century. So there have been some responses around the world, in Latin America, that talks about social justice, considering the impact, the distributed impact, poverty, social gaps. All these things are important. Respect for the natural processes, cultural processes. All these are topics that are being investigated and we're almost done. So we are looking for new models, for new ways of thinking, different from this one. So there is also what is called the economy of compassion. There is a very interesting book written by the Dalai Lama. It's called Conversaciones con el Dalai Lama. And one of the things that it mentioned as what can be done to change our economic systems and for make those economic systems more just. I'm going to finish quick. So that's very important, not just ecological economy. We need solidarity and we need compassion. Self-knowledge is very important. We need to start from here. Compassion is important. Creativity, alternative models of education, human values, respect for the cultures, justice, solidarity, peace. El Papa Francisco wrote a very interesting book also about what is ecological economy. So I'm not going to talk about it because I don't have too much time. There have been some examples in Puerto Rico that we can do it for ourselves. Casa Pueblo is one example. There is a agroecological project in Las Marias called Finca Plenitud. The project of Satu, I just explained it before. That's another example. El Corredor del Yaguazo en Cataño. That is a community that protects the environment in Cataño. So we need another economy. If we erase this quadro, square, so we have
Aquí, mira, hay papel. ¿Te lo hago? ¿En squares?
We raise the square, and then we have many communities around the world. Every community is different. Rationality is important. So every community has its own rationality, sus propios saberes. I don't know how to explain that. So everything is interconnected without this. Everyone is interacting with the society and with the environment, but in their own way. And that's what is happening in many countries in Latin America, in some places also in the United States. So we need to get rid of this global rationality and have our own rationalities. Everything obviously is interconnected. If you see my diagram, it's better than that. So finally, a few days ago I wrote an article for Diálogo, the newspaper of the University of Puerto Rico, and it was titled "The Economy That Puerto Rico Needs." And I'm going to finish with that. The economy that Puerto Rico needs is the economy que surge del corazón.
The economy that comes from the heart.
Una economía que se desarrolle de sus propios saberes.
An economy that comes forth from its own knowing, its own
Desde su
inner,
propia visión de mundo.
from its own vision of the world,
Desde sus propias experiencias.
from its own experiences,
Desde sus propias crisis.
from its own crisis.
Una economía que persiga la sustentabilidad.
The economy that pursues the economy sustainability,
Y el florecimiento humano,
the flourishing of human,
social, cultural y económico.
of humanity or human life, and the social, culture and economic areas, levels.
That's my presentation. I'm sorry for my English.
It's wonderful.
Es el idioma de mi madre, de mi abuela y indígena, obviamente, antes de eso.
Thank you so much, Yvonne.
Can I just make a comment?
1 second.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paola. Gracias. Thank you. I want to just say, talking about the languages, there is no language that can express truth. There is no word that can express truth. Words are thoughts. So there's no coincidence why we have so many different languages, why we have so many different books, why we have so many different texts. It's the same as thoughts. There's billions of thoughts. When we attach to the language in any form, we are attached to the thought. When we come from the heart, as Yvonne just said, there's no thinking necessary. If we really can just be in the heart doesn't know languages, it doesn't know countries, it doesn't know nations, it doesn't know sexes, it doesn't know ages, it doesn't know anything other than truth. Everything else is an illusion, it's not real. So while we can say we have all these crises, and we have all these problems, and we have all these very tangibly real feeling, seeming crisis and challenges, if we can detach from the illusion of that and just go into the heart, then the problem is the solution. They are not separate, they're always the same. And one of the easiest ways to at least temporarily connect with the heart is music. The only two active vibrations are colors and tone. And in essence they're the same, just travel at different speeds. And with that, I am very much looking forward to our closing ceremony with our very special presenter Delian, aka 13 Hands, who I won't introduce much. I'll let him introduce himself, but we'll take a break obviously before that. And you're still good here, Delian, you want to definitely be here, right?
Yeah, because there's a big part going on as well.
Oh yeah,
which is
no, definitely
awesome.
here, yes.
But-
What do you need as far as here? Chairs, no chairs, everything
No,
back
I'm
to?
gonna sit on the floor up there.
But do you want the chairs?
Yeah, if people feel comfortable to lie on the ground, they can move forward.
Okay, they can just feel free to do
Yeah.
whatever they need to do. So we'll
Yeah,
leave the
right.
chairs, and if someone wants to rather be on the ground, you can bring a blanket or a sheet or something, and also be on the floor or on a chair, whatever you want. Basically, that's.
Petra has provided 5 yoga mats if anyone wants a yoga
Actually,
mat.
a friend of mine. It's like donation for it or like somebody else. But I brought it.
Okay, there's 5 yoga mats. Where are they?
Over there, I can work them.
Thank you so
Okay,
much,
thank you,
Petra.
Petra.
So let's take 10 minutes. Is that enough for everybody? And then we'll come back to the closing ceremony